Brian Kelly and LSU, honestly, in my opinion, aren't looking too good right now. How you doing? My name is Blicky. Welcome to the channel. If you like football content, NFL, college football, CFL, or just a sports fan in general, please hit the subscribe button and also leave a like and some comments. Come on, let's get the channel blowing. So anyway, LSU this season has not been doing that well. I mean, they've been overall okay, but at the end of the day, it's been up and down. Of course, they've been beating smaller opponents, but when it comes to the big opponents, the Power 5 opponents like the Alabamas and whatnot, it just hasn't been going down. Of course, Brian Kelly, he took over in 2022, I believe, and just like I said, he's been the head coach ever since, and there has been some success. He's had some Heisman Trophy winners. He's had, of course, Jaden Daniels. Of course, he went second overall to the Washington Commanders, so that's definitely a highlight for him in the program. But at the same time, overall, again, things have just been up and down. It seems like he can't get over the hump. It seems like Brian Kelly can't become one of those elite head coaches and make LSU one of those elite programs that can compete in the college football championship. And honestly, as an LSU fan, it's kind of disappointing. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't been doing bad, but for LSU being the program that it is, it does need to do better. I believe that it can do better, but I believe that there does have to be some changes. Maybe even Brian Kelly needs to go. Now, that's not being negative, that's just being honest, to be honest with you. You know, just like I said, it's just that up and down right now where, again, smaller opponents you beat, bigger opponents you don't. And of course, in order to compete in college football, especially Power 5, big D1 school college football, you have to be able to beat the big teams, the big fish. You have to be able to take them out. Now, of course, Brian Kelly has been in college football for a while now. He's been coaching, believe it or not, to be honest with you, ever since 1991, where he started at Grand Valley State. And ever since then, he just kept working his way up until eventually he became the Notre Dame Fighting Irish head coach. Now, his time with Notre Dame, it was actually pretty good. It started off a little bit slow. Things, 8-5 records, barely making the, a bowl game. But as time went on, it got better. He started having 10 win, 11 win, and even 12 win seasons, which led LSU in 2022 after Ed Oregon left. I believe he left or he was retired, either or, but either way, Ed Oregon left the program as the head coach and they hired Brian Kelly, which in my opinion, that wasn't a bad pickup. He was already at a Power 5 D1. He already knew what it was like to coach at that level. And at the time, of course, Joe Burrow was drafted. It was really kind of like a transitional period for LSU. They needed somebody to replace not only a good quarterback, but a damn good head coach. And Brian Kelly, honestly, he wasn't that bad in my opinion. I remember watching Notre Dame games back when he was the head coach, and they were definitely competitive, a hell of a lot more competitive than they are now, to be honest with you. Now, of course, in 2022, when Brian Kelly got there, he started off his first season with a 10-4 record, going 6-2 in the conference and winning the Citrus Bowl. Not bad for a first-time head coach, especially, transitioning from one job to another. But at the same time, LSU was striving for higher. They were coming off having a guy, again, Joe Burrow, Heisman Trophy winner. They won the national championship. At Oregon, again, things with him got a little iffy. Might have to make a video about that. Let me know in the comments. But anyway, 2023 was a 10-3 record, once again going 6-2 and winning the Relay Quest Bowl, which again isn't bad, but for a program like LSU, Power 5, big name D1 school, they did and still do need more at the end of the day. And right now in 2024, they're 7-4 and they're not in the top 25. They were for the majority of the season, towards the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, but especially after that big loss against Alabama, they fell out of it. They're not in the top 25, unfortunately, and that just hurts me as an LSU fan. I want to see them win, just like any other sports fan or anybody who's a fan of their team. And just like I said, I mean, they'll still be bowl eligible. They'll probably get a mid-tier bowl, maybe even a high-tier bowl if they could win out the rest of the games this season. But at the same time, it is just rough right now. Things with LSU are just up and down, you know. You need the win against big opponents, and that's something Brian Kelly has not done for the program. I'll give him this. It's been a steady program. It's been a sturdy program. Of course, you had a Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels, second overall pick in the NFL draft. So, of course, there has been some highlights. I'm not going to say he's just been awful, but at the same time, LSU might want to consider a change, in my opinion, or who knows, they might even be considering a change, because of course at this level of college football in the NCAA, of course, big name colleges, they need to be winning out. You know, at the end of the day, bowl games at this level won't win you out. Now, of course, if you're at a mid-tier D1 or, of course, an FCS program, you can have different seasons. My apologies. You can have different seasons where you only win about 6 to 8 games, and that will be good enough to keep your job. But at the SEC, the big name level, the big D1 level, it's just not possible, which I could see Brian Kelly doing it. I mean, he has potential. He's been around too long. Just like I said, he has a good overall record, you know, and LSU, as I told you, they are still a good program. They definitely still good with recruiting. Unfortunately, that Bryce Underwood kid, he flipped his commit. First he was at Michigan, then he flipped to LSU, and now he's back at Michigan. But that's besides the point. They're still good with recruiting. They could still be a top team, and hopefully even next season or even later on this season, who knows, maybe if they win out the rest of their games, they might finish in the top 25. Now, again, of course, LSU is not going to be playoff eligible or national championship eligible, but at least we can get a decent bowl win and at least build off going in the next season, you know. So that's my overall thoughts on the situation with LSU. Let me know what you think in the comments, and just like I said, drop a like, drop a comments. Just please, let's keep the engagement up, guys. I love talking about football, and I could do this all day, and I really appreciate the guys that watched and the overall people that watched. Peace.